Coming up on Ultra Eye, Rome, the eternal city in the 21st century. See how it's forging into the future by building on its legendary past. Meet the twin architects who are giving this ancient city a fresh, modern flair. Visit a hotel that's making hell a chic destination. And party the night away in one of Rome's most exclusive clubs. This is Ultra Eye Rome. Rome, a booming metropolis whose legendary past has shaped Western civilization. And today, that extraordinary past is the foundation of the city's stylish future. From art and design to food and fashion, every aspect of Rome's creativity is born out of the tears of time that are never stripped away but are built upon and reinvented. Rome is a city where avant-garde architecture embraces time-worn ruins and trendy night spots come to life amidst ancient Roman garbage. It's a city of historical layers where there is no blank slate, and this gives Rome a style all its own, proving now more than ever, all roads really do lead to Rome. From its aqueducts to its roads, to landmarks like the Colosseum, Rome's groundbreaking innovations changed the way cities were made. And today's cutting-edge designers are as fearless as their ancient counterparts. Just off the historic Via Veneto, the street made famous in Fellini's cinematic masterpiece La Dolce Vita, lies the award-winning Aleph, one of Rome's hippest and most exclusive boutique hotels. Housed in a former bank building, this sleek retreat is inspired by Dante's Divine Comedy. Architect Adam Tahani and chief designer Andrea Rican turned the imposing structure into a provocative playground, with their creative take on heaven and hell.
There are not many hotels in Rome that can tell you a story. Aleph is telling a story, it's giving you something. I think we offer to Rome a new project, a new space to be living in. And if you want to create a place that is not like your house, but you still have to feel comfortable. You have to have a good bed, you have to have a good bathroom, good lighting. This is what, hospitality means for us. But still we want to give good design. Aleph needed something special. And the idea comes from a very classical book, Dante Alighieri's The Divine Comedy, where we have hell and we have heaven. So that's what the story starts. Hell is the lobby, it's the public space. So we kind of brought the redness and luxury and the rich material. In a lot of little areas, we literally refer to hell. So the door handles are two horns in metal, and when you walk in the hotel, you open the door and you're touching two horns. And then we have the words of the bar. We are bringing phrases of important people when they refer to hell or heaven. So Nietzsche is saying hell is full of boring people. And then you walk in and you have the two samurais, which one is the good and the other one is the bad. So we play throughout the spaces with good and bad, teasing people.
This playful teasing is evident at every turn. Heaven, ironically, takes the form of a luxurious underground spa that's reminiscent of ancient Roman baths. This sensual hideaway is located in the former bank's vault.
This door was the existing door of the vault of the bank, and we decided to keep because it was a very beautiful design element and was also the passage to the relaxation room. This was a way of keeping the memory of the building. Also, there is a connection with being in heaven and the secret of getting into heaven. It's a symbol. A door is a door, and it's a passage. Heaven is a place where you can recover your energy.
And while the Divine Comedy motif defines the Alef's provocative public spaces, the design for its private spaces takes inspiration from the eternal city itself. Each of the 96 stylish guest rooms showcases a giant photo mural of Rome, a scenic reminder of the majestic city outside.
Every room have different vedutas, which are the big photo murals on the walls. Now, veduta is a term, it's a technical term that Renaissance painters used to do to create perspective on their painting. So every room has a different scenario. So you wake up and you see these beautiful landscape photos from Rome.
And at the Alef, the city plays a role in nearly every facet of the hotel's bold design, including a rather unconventional concept for the building's inner courtyard.
We decided to do an art piece that is the backgammon court, and major item is the dice being in the air as the gesture of the dice have been thrown. This is making a relationship with the Roman history. There is the famous phrase that Julius Caesar said, where when he gave up the government, he said the dice have been thrown. Throughout the project, we try to convey in every space the same richness and the same connection with history and the town where we are at.
The Alef's creative setting and its inventive approach to hospitality has helped set a new standard for high-design hotels in Rome.
Luxury is about consistency. It's about giving to the client what they need. We have a new generation coming, and this new generation are used to travel. They are used to new things, and they want to get excited.
Rome is buzzing with unstoppable energy, thanks to its recent high-profile architectural and design renaissance. The Arapacis Museum is one of the bolder new structures found in the city centre. Here, cutting-edge American architect Richard Meyer encased Emperor Augustus's 2,000-year-old altar in a futuristic mix of concrete and glass. And near the Olympic Stadium, veteran Italian architect Renzo Piano built a pod-like concert hall that brings a little sci-fi to the symphony. But when it comes to architecture's brave new world, Romans are seeing double. Affectionately nicknamed the Romulus and Remus of New Roman architecture, Marco and Gianluigi Giametta are Rome's hottest architects, with a one-of-a-kind style. They have designed over a dozen of the city's chicest restaurants and bars. From the sleek wine bar Palatium to the trendy restaurant Trattoria, they dominate the IT hangout spots in Rome. And since launching their firm 15 years ago, they've garnered international acclaim for breaking architectural molds while preserving landmark public spaces.
Rome is a most important model of historic architecture, and for us is a reason to be proud. But this is history, because now contemporary architecture must respond to the needs of contemporary life and contemporary man. Our job is to translate this need in architecture.
The Giametta's aesthetic is recognizable by its preference for unusual materials, as well as its clever use of light and glass.
We think that the architecture is one of the most important means of the communication. What we design and build must create the emotional response.
Their latest project, the Arcanto Luxury Spa, turns a former hideaway of Emperor Nero into one of the chicest retreats in Rome. Here, guests enter a futuristic white vinyl portal and suddenly find themselves transported to another world.
This is the entrance. All thing starts here. This space is like a womb. There is no perpendicular line, there is no order. All thing is round.
Across this space, we can release our stress, our tension. We can start the spa experience.
Accanto is a lush, cavernous space that was once an ancient Roman bath. And the construction of the spa brought the architects face to face with a surprising layer of Roman history.
It's very interesting in Rome because when we start to build, we don't know what we will find.
During the construction, we found an ancient mosaic that represents the Accanto plant. This is the origin of the name.
This mosaic were part of Nero's bath a long time ago.
According to Roman law, the mosaics could not be touched or tampered with. These exotic artifacts, depicting the green Accanto plant, inspired the spa's name and give it a uniquely Roman mystique. But the mosaics weren't the only happy accident. The twins maximized other unexpected archaeological discoveries as well.
The column that we find during the construction is ancient, but we don't know the age of this column. And we decided to involve the column with the iron. In this way, we have the communication between old and new.
By encasing the ancient pillars in oxidized iron, the twins created a contemporary space that retains its structural and historical essence.
We think that this space can tell a story through the use of form, material, color, and lights.
And Rome's favorite sons have a starring role in the revitalization of their city's architecture, building on the beauty of its ancient layers to create a new architectural language for the future.
We think that in architecture there is no balance but confrontation. To do architecture doesn't need coherence, but we try to instigating a process of transformation in the city. We like to think not what Rome is, but what Rome will be in the future.
Rome's groundbreaking work and design doesn't stop at its arresting public spaces. The Eternal City is also famed for being a hub of innovation when it comes to its interior design. And the city's reigning diva of interiors is Carola Vannini. Famed for cleverly transforming ancient domestic dwellings into modern masterpieces, Vannini has garnered several design awards and graced the pages of magazines worldwide. As both a native of the city and a champion of its architectural history, she has become one of the most highly coveted players in Rome's happening interior design scene.
A house, an apartment is so personal and it's so important to the people that own them. So to me, it's very important to make them happy and at the same time to give strong directions that follow my way of designing. I normally have a vision of what the apartment will be, and it's kind of instinctive, and I don't think about it too much. It just appears to me right away. And if it doesn't, that's a problem. Working in Italy and in Rome in particular, I need to face a reality that most of the time the existing structure is ancient. They are preserved and protected by laws, so you can actually do anything with them except for inserting new things.
Adding new elements into ancient apartments is particularly challenging in the scenic artist's neighborhood of Trastevere, where Vannini lives. This historic area is famed for its cobblestone streets and rows of picturesque low buildings.
I did this apartment in Trastevere and it was a very nice challenge. It was very ancient, especially part of it was from the 17th century. So when we basically destroyed all the existing, not structural walls, these columns stayed right in the middle, which was not a very good thing to have. And basically I rounded it in plaster and cut it, and I put these neon lights and inserted them inside it. Basically, I could emphasize that architectural element through light in a cinematic way.
And Carola's bold and sometimes unconventional use of color has become a key element in her distinctive style.
Color as well is very important. I normally like neutral tones for the architecture, but I like to put inside the spaces themselves elements with strong colors, for example, furniture, sofas, chairs, and lights. So I like to create this contrast.
Carola also favors unusual materials like parquets and resins for their modern design effect, particularly in some unexpected places.
Italian bathrooms are more like tiles and stuff like that, and I hate tiles, and I really like to use materials that look very clean and simple, like resins. With resins, you don't see the lines between tiles, for example, but the surface gets all consistent, and I think it looks nicer.
Carola's modern take on old-world interiors has won her accolades around the globe and has made her a major contender among the new wave of design talent in Rome.
I would say that Rome is actually changing a lot in the last years, and everybody needs to make it new somehow, and I really like this because Rome is an historical city, but at the same time it's a city that is very alive. There are lots of things happening, and there is a lot more attention to architecture and design.
Coming up on Ultra Eye, get VIP access to the majestic medieval castle of Rome's reigning queen of fashion. And later, discover a local trattoria that's drawing international A-listers. Rome may be famous for its ancient ruins and its phenomenal frescoes, but it's also an epicenter of high fashion and style. As a shopping hub, Rome is definitely a force to be reckoned with. The world's most elegant boutiques line the legendary Via Condotti, where celebrities and international seekers of chic help keep Rome's fashion landscape in bloom. And while most of the world associates Italian fashion with Milan, some of the country's top designers hail from the Eternal City. From the legendary Valentino to the fabulous Fendis, Rome is home to some of the most important players on the Italian fashion scene. One of the city's most revered designers is Laura Biagiotti, known affectionately as the Queen of Kashmir. For 35 years, this icon of Roman style has been a member of Italy's fashion and social elite. And she is at the helm of a multi-million-dollar global lifestyle brand that she runs from her native city.
I try to build a Biagiotti style that is very feminine, a type of elegance in shape, in details, in workmanship. In a long life as myself in fashion, it's important to build a lifestyle. A good dress is like a good friend or a good book or a good music CD that you can spend life with for a long time. That is the reason why I prefer a basic palette that is white, off-white, all the natural color.
Biagiotti's design inspirations come from the rich environment where she works and lives. Castello Marco Simone is a majestic 16th century castle located just outside of the city. Biagiotti bought the property in 1980 and meticulously restored it, engaging her other great passion, archaeology.
I live in this marvelous place, and I consider that a strong privilege of my life. And the house was building as it is now around the 16th century, but the tower is older. I love to stay in this special room. This beautiful atmosphere around me, the paintings, the frescoes. The frescoes are post-Renaissance or late Renaissance decoration, and the name that you can see on top of the door is Federico Cesio, and it's interesting to consider that Federico Cesio was the protector of Galileo Galilei. So I dreamed that maybe also Galileo Galilei was guest of this living room.
Biagiotti's medieval retreat is a constant source of creative stimulation, whether it be for her ready-to-wear line or her famous fragrances, which she develops in a small studio located above the castle's grand courtyard.
I think that the fragrance is the best dress. No size, no color, no season. The collection of fragrance started from my mother Delia. And when I was a little girl, I was fascinated by the fragrance, but also by the shape of the bottles. Each one of these bottles represents part of my life in fashion. And I dedicate maybe the most famous, the most well-done fragrance of my life to Roma. That is not just a place, it's a philosophy, it's an art of life, is history, and is light, some special light that I love very much.
Roman to the core, it's not surprising that Biagiotti is carrying on an age-old Italian tradition of family-run fashion houses like the Massonis and Ferragamos. Lavinia Biagiotti Sr. continues her mother's legacy as the company's junior vice president, as well as the creative force behind the Biagiotti's children's label.
Well, it's great for me to work with my mother. I'm definitely bringing my energy, my curiosity, and my global way of seeing the world. You know, she represents really tradition in design and running the company, and me, I represent all the challenges that the third millennium can offer. And it's great to work together and to bring up new ideas that always respect Biagiotti's tradition.
Biagiotti style is a type of elegance that don't forget the tradition that is so important for us Italians.
As a capital of style, Rome is not only famous for its high-end fashions, but also for a centuries-old tradition in jewelry design. And while the Bulgari family still reigns as the most preeminent name in Rome, the city is teeming with fresh talent. This includes a stylish princess with her own version of chic. Princess Lucia Odescalchi is one of Rome's most celebrated jewelry designers, and her creations are as luxe as her lineage. With a 1,000-year-old family legacy that even includes a pope, the Odescalchis are one of Italy's most esteemed noble families. And so, in true royal fashion, Lucia lives and works at her family's majestic palazzo, a Baroque city landmark remodeled by Vannini in the 1600s. Her rich surroundings inspire her one-of-a-kind jewelry designs, which are also celebrated in the pages of Harper's Bazaar and sold in hip luxury shops like Henry Bendel and Barney's. But before following her passion to make jewelry, Lucia was in a different part of the business, hitting the runway as a model, experience that would prove invaluable for her next step in fashion.
I was working the gold age of fashion, so when Versace was doing beautiful things and Valentino and all Italian fashion was growing a lot, so I was very lucky to be there in that moment.
And it was Lucia's friendships with icons like Giorgio Armani that helped land her creations on the catwalk.
When I was working as a model for Armani, I learned how to look for something beautiful. I learned to see all the little things, to give importance at all the little things. When I start with my production, I present to Armani my collection, and he enjoyed my collection, and he chose 5 or 6 pieces. So for me, was a great first step.
Lucia's next step was to sharpen her skills by working on reproductions of ancient jewelry.
I made oro dei musei, means gold from the museum. And it's a collection made for a museum. Oro dei musei was just the copy of ancient jewelry. And after 2 years, I get enough. I decide I can do my own style. But the traditional things are the basis for everything. So I'm strong with my feet in these classic shapes.
And while Lucia's style has evolved into something far more cutting edge, ancient traditions continue to be the foundation of her designs.
The idea of my designs came up from something I see around, from Roma Colosseo, from Roman art, from the classical statues. My jewelry are architectural. They are very, very huge jewelry, very strong. They are not minimal at all. When you wear something like that, you make the statements.
And Lucia's striking designs creatively fuse organic materials with sculptural shapes.
I love material things. I love something you can have in your hands, you can touch, you can discover it. This is a wood chain. I love wood because with wood you can do huge things, but not so heavy. I like the sound of the wood. 2 pieces of wood together make a nice sound too. I love steel. If you wear steel, it's never cold. It's a hot metal. This is a silver mesh necklace. This part is oxidized silver. This other is natural silver. And this is a disc of gold. Before I draw with a pencil, and then I cut with a scissor by hands. But you can see the line still. But I like it. Sometimes something wrong is something nice. You must be in the mood to have my jewelry, because if you wear something like that, you must believe in it, no? Of course.
For this regal Roman, crafting modern jewelry with a classical sensibility is the ultimate creative outlet.
I make my jewelry because I need to express myself in some way. Maybe I can't talk so much, maybe I can draw, but I can do jewelry.
Coming up on Ultra Eye, see why chic celebs are clamoring for reservations at a local trattoria. Plus, La Dolce Vita goes retro at Rome's most exclusive night spot. Stroll the streets of Rome and you'll discover an exceptional world, where ruins and relics overlap with marvels of modernity. In the city's historic centre, you're never more than a stone's throw from some of the world's most important works of art. From the splashy splendour of Vannini's Trevi Fountain to the magic and mystery of the Pantheon, to the abundance of opulent churches, Rome's beauty and majesty are unrivaled. But in Rome, art permeates every corner of the city, even the more offbeat ones, like the industrial areas of Ostiense Marconi. The new macro future is a perfect example. Where else could a former slaughterhouse become a hotbed of cutting-edge contemporary art? And further down Via Ostiense, in the heart of Rome's industrial cityscape, sits one of the city's most unusual museums, the Centrale Monte Martini. This huge industrial space began as Rome's first power station in 1912. After years of abandonment, it became a storage space for priceless Roman and Greek sculptures, usually found in Rome's famous Campidoglio Museum. But one look at the ancient marble statues against the raw industrial backdrop convinced the city to make Monte Martini the permanent home for these treasures.
This museum is very special. It's the combination of ancient Rome and the Rome of 1900s. We decided to turn the space into a museum because we really fell in love with the beautiful large industrial space. And actually, the dimension of the space allowed us to display some sculptures that had been in storage because they were too big for the other museum. In the placement of the statues, our idea was to throw away the notion of traditional statue exhibition, the old big pedestal, and instead place them within the context of the old machinery. All the statues white, so we preferred to put in front of the black machine because the contrast between the statues and the machine is very special. In this case, the dial is like a head for the statues. This happened by chance.
The architects also took advantage of the space's unusually high ceiling to reconstruct the Temple of Apollo, which immortalizes the battle between the Greeks and the Amazons.
You can see here the reconstruction of the Temple of Apollo Sosiano. There are all original Greek statues, and you can see in the middle Athena, and then Nike, and on the right, two horses with the Amazon.
The museum's massive boiler room offers a striking view of one of the Centrale's most precious pieces, the great mosaic of Horticinari. Found over 80 years ago during the construction of the Termini train station. More than any other, this museum brings modern Rome face to face with its ancient history.
Romans are tied to their city and its history. The museum is deeply connected to the city, thanks to its double function as an ancient museum and this way of recycling industrial archaeology. And we also gave value to an industrial building that had none before.
Museums in Rome can take many forms, and as a result, there is something for literally every taste. In the edgy artist neighborhood of San Lorenzo, the museum concept has been taken to a sweeter place. SED is an 85-year-old family-run factory turned museum that produces Rome's most famous chocolate. And though the factory was badly bombed in World War II, it's still standing today and now has become one of the city's hippest hangouts.
Site today means a new concept. The concept is a factory with a special space just to enjoy our product in the same location. A cool place, that means cool, the way we make the product, the way we make the packaging, the way you have to feel the right sensation to buy a product or to enjoy a product standing here. Then is a very, very special concept, new concept, and is old and new at the same time.
De Mauro transformed the space to include a super chic bar and restaurant, but still maintained the industrial charm of the original place. The factory itself is still in full operation, and in fact, customers can watch the heavenly treats being made while hanging out at the bar. Above the bar hangs a modern-looking mural, but a closer look reveals that it's actually made up of old cooking utensils. Add in vintage machines lining the walls, and it turns this historic building into a unique museum.
The word museum is an important word. It means that you never destroy what is the history. My family started the business in this building in 1923. We are still in the same building. We got the same space, the same feeling, and also the old machine. The old machines that are around are very important for us because it's a piece of history. You can see it, every single layer, so every single period of the history of this factory is still alive. We just put a little bit of modernization on top of it, and you have probably the best result.
At SED, a revamp of the chocolate's packaging was just one way to create a new sensation. These diet-busting delicacies come in a rainbow of fashionable wrappers, and some are even accessorized with lace. But the confections inside are always the main attraction.
We do make a different kind of chocolate. We make chocolate in the Italian way. It's very important because the difference from the Italian kitchen and the French kitchen. That we make something more drier, less butter, less, everything else. It's very, very special and simple. One special thing that we put in the chocolate, some spices that are Italian typical spices, like rosemary, basil, sage. My grandmother used to make this kind of chocolate bar with salt inside. This is a special combination that makes our product different and a very Italian product.
And SED's sinful sweets, coupled with its inviting and authentic atmosphere, have made it the perfect hub for Roman hipsters.
We have here like client the best stylist, the actor, but always and still the old lady, the real old lady, 90 years old, that comes here, I want this chocolate, I want this chocolate. If you doesn't lose this kind of client and you have new client, you reach your goal. We have this perfect mix, I think, and I say perfect because now this place is considered one of the coolest places of Rome, different. I hope that people came away from this place with a very special kind of experience. Just a little stop in this place, just to enjoy a piece of very sweet story of Rome.
Fabrizio's factory is a favorite destination on Rome's map of indulgence. And this is a city that lives to eat. From gelaterias on every corner to delicate nibbles at specialty food shops, Rome can satisfy any palate. And some of the city's best culinary hotspots can be found in the hip area of Trastevere, known as much for its food as for its artists. One of its most celebrated restaurants is Antica Pesa. When it comes to Roman cuisine, Hollywood's A-list can't get enough of this local favorite. From De Niro to DiCaprio to the legendary Sophia Loren, top celebs have become adoring fans of Antica Pesa's unique take on classic Roman recipes. And the setting is as unique as the food. Originally a 17th century inn, today the space is lined with modern murals by top contemporary artists. This winning combination of atmospheric and culinary excellence make this family-owned operation one of Rome's best.
I grew up here, This is a restaurant family. First one was my grandfather, after my father. Now I work with my brother. My way of cooking, my recipes, my style, is starting from here, from the Roman cuisine and from the tradition. I work on an elaboration of the ancient recipes. So many dishes are very heavy. These modern times, we have to work on it to change it and become more lighter.
And Panella's modern take on the classics has had quite an impact on Hollywood royalty, making him a celebrity among celebrities.
One time I prepared the spaghetti cacio e pepe with John Travolta because he's coming here and he ordered the spaghetti cacio e pepe. After dinner, he came in the kitchen and told me, please, I want to do that kind of spaghetti. And so we started to make spaghetti together. He's a great guy. Everybody has these needs, and we are here to satisfy that needs. So Mr. De Niro loves the meat, or Madame Sophia Loren love the privacy, so they usually go into private room. I don't want to speak about just celebrity, but all the people, because all the people have these needs, you know.
Chef Pannella tailors his cuisine to his customers, whether they're faithful film stars or loyal locals. And to help create his artful dishes, he insists on using the freshest produce and ingredients. So he likes to hit one of Rome's oldest market, Campo di Fiori.
This is a famous market, and we are here to find some special ingredients for my recipes.
Campo di Fiori means field of flowers, and 500 years ago, this beautiful square was just that, a flower field.
We are going to find some vegetables. It's typical Roman. This is one of the best area. Ciao signora, come stai?
Bene,
Tutto bene?
Tutto ok.
Senti, io cercavo qualcosa di speciale qui, tipicamente romano.
La cicoria romana, ricorta ieri sera. Questa.
Sì,
Poi
perfetto.
le zucchine.
Yeah, look at this. This is Roman zucchini with the flour. It's very special. We are going to prepare some starter with this. Dai un bacetto. Ciao.
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 And while fresh ingredients provide the canvas, it's Rome's rich culinary tradition that makes Pannella's dishes true works of art.
If you know the history of the recipes and the products, I think it's more interesting to eat.
One of Antica Pace's classic dishes is a zucchini flan that takes its inspiration from a recipe in the cookbook of Columella, a 5th century Roman farmer. Here, Pannella transforms it into a sophisticated, modern appetizer.
You can see the great color, I love it. One of my favorite dish is the San Biagio sausage with a kind of cheese called scamorza.
This hard-to-find sausage is an Antica Pace trademark, and its recipe dates back to the 6th century.
We got the chicory this morning. We pureed it with garlic and red pepper.
Dollops of pureed chicory and bellinis made of spelt are topped with the bubbling scamorza cheese. The savory sausage tops off the dish. The result? An Antica Pace masterpiece that keeps loyal fans coming back for more.
I hope that the experience at the Antica Pace is full of history, art, and I hope great food.
Coming up on Ultra Eye, culinary decadence is taken to new heights. Plus, go behind the velvet rope at a trendy retro Roman nightclub. Rome's love of the finer things dates back to ancient times. And today, luxury remains a fundamental part of the city's magic. From extraordinary food to first-rate fashion to opulent 5-star hotels, the Eternal City devours all the best things in life. Perched high atop Rome's Monte Mario is the 5-star Cavalieri Hilton, a hotel famed for its glamorous clientele and its breathtaking views. It's also home to La Pergola, the only restaurant in Rome with a Michelin 3-star rating. This culinary paradise boasts the best food in the city. Getting a table here is no small feat. At the helm of La Pergola is the city's top chef, German-born Heinz Beck, who is world-renowned for transforming Roman traditions into sumptuous modern dishes. But this visionary chef might have taken a different path in life, if not for a little twist of fate.
I want to become a painter, and my father didn't allow me, so it was my twin brother actually who wanted to become a cook. And so I say, okay, I will become a cook as well. So Papa says, no, 2 cooks in the family, no, I don't like 2 cooks in the family. So he put up a coin, and tack, I become a chef.
Despite Chef Beck's accidental entry into the business, today he leaves nothing to chance, especially when it comes to his approach to the restaurant or its success.
If you want to invent something new in Rome and you want to have success, you have to do it on the deep roots of tradition, reinventing it new. I bring all the elements that inspire me here in Rome, like color, dimension, smell, light, into my restaurant to make unforgettable dining experience in La Pergola.
And though Chef Beck's cuisine is the ultimate in sophistication, his basic cooking philosophy is quite simple.
I have a very rich environment where my clientele is eating, so what I bring on the table has to be very minimalistic, otherwise it becomes too much. I transform the ideas of this Roman kitchen, but producing very light products.
Traditional ingredients and meticulous attention to detail make Chef Beck's menu like no other. One of his signature dishes is a masterful reinvention of the classic Roman pasta carbonara.
I chose this dish because it's one of the most historical dishes, and I think it's very nice to redo some traditional pasta dishes.
Carbonara is traditionally made with a rich egg and Parmesan sauce poured over pasta. But here, Chef Beck literally turned the concept inside out.
Okay, so you will have your pasta dish now, and I will show you something very funny. If I open it, it runs out liquid. You see here, this is the egg and the pecorino cheese who is inside pasta. And normally it's outside in a traditional carbonara pasta.
Chef Beck's recipe for success includes staying on the cutting edge of culinary trends like molecular gastronomy. From his vapor shrimp to his foaming foie gras, he's known for his chemical experimentation and highly inventive food combinations. One of his newest dishes is a vacuum-sealed lamb, stuffed with tomatoes and artichokes in sheep's milk. The lamb is slow-cooked for 4 hours at 125 degrees, making the meat exceptionally tender and flavorful.
Our lamb into the plate, and you add a little bit of the milk into the plate. You wait 30 seconds, and it will become solid, you see? The science is going always ahead, and we are trying to keep on going ahead with the new researches in order to constantly improve the plates we do in the moment and to create new plates.
Exquisite food is just one part of La Pergola's magic. It's also about maintaining the highest standards possible in every aspect of the total dining experience. With 17 waiters for 18 tables and only 1 seating per night, La Pergola and its customers demand perfection.
I try to improve every day everything and to make the best out of the ingredients and the best out of the service and very friendly atmosphere. I hope when people leave in my restaurant, they will remember the experience the whole life.
Dinner at La Pergola is as good as it gets, but you can't enjoy the good life without a little nightlife. So it's no surprise that some of Europe's best night spots are found in Rome. The edgy Testaccio neighborhood is the heart of the city's club scene. Here you'll find the chicest clubs, the sexiest people, and a layer of Roman history that turns trash into treasure. The Testaccio hotspots are all nestled inside Mount Testaccio, a man-made mountain of broken pieces of terracotta that the ancient Romans discarded. And one of the area's coolest clubs is Ketum Bar. where Roman hipsters eat and drink the night away amidst 2,000-year-old pieces of their history, which have been sleekly incorporated into the bar's moody design. But no after-hours scene would be complete without an It Boy. Enter Alessandro Casella, internationally known DJ, club impresario, and local legend. This titan of the turntable brings retro cool to life, Roman style, at his exclusive Mica Club.
People from Rome have this mood of being always being to a party. You know, even if you walk in the street, there's always like this kind of way of happiness. And in Rome, for many years, it's been really huge house discotheque kind of entertainment. So we want to do something that never has been done here in Rome before. Then, of course, to do something new, the best way to do is go back. The mood that we would like to create here at Mica Club, it's actually inspired by movies from the 50s and the 60s and the parties that you can see in those movies, mainly in Fellini's movie, La Dolce Vita.
In order to recreate this iconic era, the owners pulled out all the stops, transforming this former wine cellar into a haven of nostalgia.
So you come in from upstairs and you're thinking you're going underground, so you think you're going like to a very small place. But as soon as you finish the stairs, you have this huge view of the bar. So it's like a 3 different tunnel. And then we wanted to break this kind of architecture using a couch that is really smooth. This is why if you see all the couches in the club, they're all rounded and creating like a little small living room almost. You know, you can sit down with your friends and they really feel like you're alone in the club.
And one of Mica Club's standout features is its constantly rotating palette of psychedelic lighting.
We really wanted to have these arches lighted from the floor, and you can see better all the shapes of the columns. They really cut like this kind of architecture of a cathedral.
And this kaleidoscope of cool offers a multifaceted entertainment experience. It has its own record label, produces a magazine, and operates an in-house radio station. All spearheaded by Alessandro and his retro vision.
My major interest has always been researching about something from the past, which is music and fashion. I have walls and walls of records. I only DJ from 7 inches only. For me, it's more fun to do it, just physically more fun. And if I physically have fun to play those records, the people in front of me have more fun to dance to them. And of course, if it's a vinyl record, it's more cool. They come in, oh, it's a vinyl thing, that's cool.
With mod murals, sinful cocktails, and a dance floor that's famously far out, it's easy to see why Mica is a sensory playground for the pleasure-seeking party set.
We grow up in a city with so many years of histories. In a way, we have it in our blood, the sensibility to recognize something that is nice or it's beautiful. So if you give something that is high quality, in cool places, without any compromising, they recognize and they like it. So this is why people like Mica Club, I think.
As the saying goes, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. And today, that means savoring the stylish side of life. Whether it's architecture, design, food, or fashion, modern Rome is making its mark by reinventing its rich past. Innovation built Rome almost 3,000 years ago. And this same spirit of invention keeps it thriving today. Rome is a style center that capitalizes on its monumental history to create a one-of-a-kind style for the future.